5 epic moments when Ricky Gervais unapologetically took down Hollywood's woke elite. From savage jabs to jaw-dropping truths, see how Gervais left celebs speechless. Number 5. Golden Globes. Kicking off the Golden Globes with his signature no-holds-barred style, Ricky Gervais warned Hollywood's elite that his jokes would be fired off at their expense, and he didn't disappoint. The 5-time host took direct aim at the A-listers and bigwigs in the room, delivering punchlines that seemed to slice through the glamorous veneer of the industry. In a room packed with Hollywood royalty, he didn't single out just the actors, he aimed squarely at the entire establishment. Tonight isn't just about the people in front of the camera. In this room are some of the most important TV and film executives in the world, Gervais declared in his opening, laced with expletives and stinging truths. People from every background, but they all have one thing in common. They're all terrified of Ronan Farrow. His words echoed throughout the room, and the tension was palpable. Gervais went on to push the boundaries further, throwing in a jab at Netflix's The Two Popes during a particularly dark part of his monologue. It was a big year for pedophile movies. Surviving R. Kelly, Leaving Neverland, The Two Popes, he exclaimed. As the camera panned to Jonathan Pryce, who starred in the film, the actor's expression said it all. This was one joke he clearly did not appreciate. Behind the laughter, though, Gervais' comments about Farrow cut deep. Farrow's investigative reporting helped bring down Harvey Weinstein, among other powerful Hollywood figures, igniting the Me Too movement and pulling back the curtain on the industry's darkest secrets. Gervais seemed to imply that this very room, full of Hollywood's biggest names, had more than a few individuals hiding their own skeletons. While Gervais fans found his jokes bold and refreshing, others saw them as a little too harsh, even verging on right-wing territory. The comedian, however, made it clear he wasn't concerned with anyone's opinion, wrapping up with a sense that he'd gleefully aired out Hollywood's dirty laundry. And if you read between the lines, he left the unmistakable impression that many of the very people laughing were, in his view, complicit in the darker side of the industry he had just exposed. Number 4. Caitlyn Jenner. When Ricky Gervais stepped up to host the 2016 Golden Globes, audiences were already braced for his sharp tongue. Known for fearlessly roasting Hollywood's biggest names, Gervais didn't disappoint. And this time, Caitlyn Jenner was in his crosshairs. He kicked off with a jab at Jenner's recent transition, quipping, "I've changed." Not as much as Bruce Jenner, obviously. Gervais gave Jenner a nod for breaking down barriers and destroying stereotypes, but swiftly pivoted to her involvement in a fatal car accident, adding, "She didn't do a lot for women drivers, but you can't do everything." It was vintage Gervais, brutally honest, unsentimental, and unapologetic. After the awards, Gervais doubled down on his unapologetic humor with his Netflix special, Humanity, opening with a joke about dogs that can smell AIDS. From there, he went on to address his Golden Globes comments about Jenner, making it clear he had no intention of backing down. He not only repeated jokes from his Golden Globes monologue, but ramped up his critique of identity politics. "I'd never dead name her now, but this is like a flashback," he remarked, explaining that he's only acknowledging reality by referring to Jenner's past. Gervais knew he was rattling woke feathers, and he reveled in it. He defended his humor, saying, "That's a clever joke, and I'll tell you why, it's layered. The subject of that joke is stereotypes." Gervais argued that calling Jenner a real woman was a liberal move on his part, a jab at those who consider him transphobic, for acknowledging that Jenner had been Bruce for decades. He didn't shy away from discussing her past achievements as an Olympic champion, even humorously adding, with a huge, "I don't know." And in Humanity, Gervais drove his point home by poking fun at the concept of self-identification. "I'm not one of these bigots who think having all that done is science gone too far. In fact, I've always identified as a chimp. Well, I am a chimp. If I say I'm a chimp, I am a chimp." The comedian made it clear that he wouldn't be pressured into censoring himself, boldly suggesting that the world could use a bit more common sense and a lot less sensitivity. Number 3. Influencers. Ahead of the UK's general election, Ricky Gervais released a biting video from his bath, turning his satirical lens toward Hollywood's penchant for virtue signaling. In the video, he sarcastically assumes the role of a wellness and beauty influencer, mocking the idea that celebrities should... Gervais' jabs at celebrity culture resonate because he's willing to break Hollywood's taboo, challenging the woke bubble that so many of his peers live in. He takes aim at celebrities' disconnect from everyday life, reminding them and us that fame doesn't equate to wisdom. Hollywood might promote its wokeness, but Gervais points out the hypocrisy lurking beneath. With each sarcastic line, he exposes the absurdity of wealthy actors preaching to ordinary people, boldly stating that fame should not grant someone a moral or intellectual platform. Number 2, fake woke with Apple CEO. Tim Cook seated in the audience. Ricky Gervais didn't waste time roasting the tech giant during his 77th Golden Globes opening monologue. Gervais began by taking a swing at Apple's recent move into TV, saying, "Apple rolled into the TV game with The Morning Show, a superb drama about dignity and doing the right thing, made by a company that runs sweatshops in China." The camera cut to an uncomfortable Cook as Gervais turned to the broader hypocrisy in Hollywood. "Well, you say you're woke, but the companies you work for, unbelievable. Apple, Amazon, Disney." He continued, directing his words at the Hollywood elite. "If ISIS started a streaming service, you'd call your agent." It was an uncomfortable but revealing moment that highlighted the gap between Hollywood's woke image and the often problematic companies funding its projects. Gervais's jab at Apple likely referenced a recent report from China Labor Watch, which exposed Apple and its manufacturing partner Foxconn for alleged labor violations, including excessive use of temporary workers. Although Apple denied most allegations, the company did admit to exceeding the legal limit for temporary staff, a revelation that didn't go unnoticed by the comedian. Though Amazon has made some improvements, like establishing a $15 per hour minimum wage and investing in worker retraining, these changes haven't quieted critics who see tech giants as more concerned with profit than with ethical practices. Gervais tapped into this sentiment, throwing all of big tech, and by extension, Hollywood, under the spotlight for its hypocrisy. In his scathing remarks, Gervais exposed the celebrities in attendance, suggesting that their woke posturing falls flat when they eagerly work with companies facing serious ethical concerns. For fame and a paycheck, he implied, Hollywood would look the other way, even if ISIS started a streaming service. Number 1. Steve Carell. For 7 memorable seasons, Steve Carell brought Michael Scott to life on The Office, creating one of television's most iconic comedic characters. With his hilariously clueless yet lovable persona, Michael Scott quickly became a fan favorite, and Carell's performance earned him 6 Emmy nominations and a Golden Globe. But after years of success, Carell made the bold decision to step away from the show, a move that left fans stunned and reshaped the series' future. When Carell's departure was the talk of the industry, Ricky Gervais, the original creator of The Office, couldn't resist a pointed jab at the 2011 Golden Globes. Introducing Carell, Gervais quipped, "He's now leaving that show and killing a cash cow for both of us. Please welcome the ungrateful Steve Carell." The line hinted at a simmering tension, a possible bad blood between the two comedic talents. Gervais' comment didn't just poke fun. It left fans wondering if there was a deeper rivalry between the British creator and the American star, two figures forever tied to The Office legacy, but perhaps not as closely bonded as one might expect.